About a year ago, I made a video about cattle mutilations, and while I was researching making that video, I got more interested in this phenomena as it is an amazing mystery. And there are a ton of theories out there, but despite hundreds of investigations, no one knows who or what is really doing this. The only thing that we know for sure is that this is not done by other animals. One mind-boggling case happened this summer in Oregon, when 5 young purebred bulls were found dead. So an investigator was called out, and he stated that it was a very eerie scene as the bulls looked like giant deflated toys. He also noticed that the bulls were not touched by scavengers, which was very odd considering how long they'd been lying there. There was also no flies flying around the bodies. Normally when something dies in the woods, there will be tons of flies flying around the bodies, especially in this region. So this investigator was kind of freaked out by this. Here we have 5 dead bulls that no scavenger will touch, no flies, and after examination they found out that their bodies were completely drained of blood, and some of their organs were surgically removed, making this a textbook cattle mutilation case. Now these bulls were worth a lot of money, so the owner of the ranch wanted to get to the bottom of this, but nobody could figure out who or what was responsible. And also, due to the fact that this happened to 5 bulls, the employees were now required to travel in pairs and have guns on them at all times. Everybody at this ranch was really freaked out. One employee stated, if some person or persons has the ability to take down a 2,000-pound bull, well, they wouldn't have a lot of problems dealing with a 180-pound cowboy. Now that statement struck me as odd. It appears that some people think that this is done by just a random crazy person. But when you look at the facts, this had to have been done by someone or a group with a lot of very high-tech equipment. Paranormal researchers believe that this is done by either the government or aliens. And the reason I wanted to cover this case today is because I wanted to go over the latest theories. In my last cattle mutilation video, which was about a year ago, I talked about how it could be the government. But one of my subscribers wrote that if the government needed organs or blood from cattle, they would have their own cattle ranches. And that makes perfect sense. Some say that the government is doing this to check for diseases, like mad cow disease. Now that's an interesting theory, but the government wouldn't need to do this in secret, and I would imagine that you would not need to kill the animal to see if it's sick. Also, in every verified cattle mutilation case, there's no blood anywhere, not one drop. So whoever does this, picks the cattle or animal up, takes them somewhere else, removes their organs and blood, then takes them back to where they found them. And for me, this is another reason why I don't think it's the government, or cultist, or anything like that. Why would they bring the cattle back? It just makes no sense. And also, there are no tire tracks anywhere. So these cattle had to have been taken from the sky. And that's why so many people believe that aliens are responsible. Especially when you add into the fact that no scavengers will touch the carcasses, and no flies fly around the bodies. It's as if they can sense something that we can't. Now, hundreds of cases have been investigated over the decades, but still nobody could figure out what the heck is going on. And that is kind of freaky, making this one of the most amazing paranormal mysteries of our time. Now on this channel I have covered tons of UFO sightings, and I do believe that a lot of them involve alien beings. So to me it's not too hard to imagine that at night, a UFO hovers over the cattle. Then they beam them up, they drain the blood, cut out the organs that they want, then they drop them back to the ground without ever moving. And that, well, it makes perfect sense to me. And I'm curious to know, what do you guys think is responsible for all these cattle mutilations? Another UFO sighting that I wanted to cover happened about a month or 2 ago when a man named William was traveling on a ferry when he saw a lot of strange lights in the sky. And in the video, which I'll link in the description below, you can hear him say, "Can anybody please tell me what that is?" Now I found this footage to be extremely interesting, and it reminded me of one of the biggest mass UFO sightings in known history that happened in Mexico in 2004. At about noon, the people in Guadalajara saw hundreds of spear-shaped objects grouped together in a massive formation, all moving together in unison. And this only lasted for a couple of minutes, but the eyewitnesses could not believe what they were seeing, and a lot of them were scared because it looked like they were about to be invaded. Then about an hour or so later, this UFO cluster was seen flying over another town not that far away, and yet again the people were scared to death. And this case is known as the biggest mass UFO sighting in history. Now, because there are so many UFO sightings throughout the world, like this one that can't be explained, is the reason why I think that it's definitely possible that aliens are to blame for all these cattle mutilations. Until next time, this is Paranormal Junkie. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned.